Yep. I don't know why I had to count down for so long. I'm ready to go. It's another Monday. I had this idea, and I just want to address the elephant in the room. I had the idea about daily drops of Dexter Dewayne and what that actually looked like. I thought it was going to be more um, motivation based. I thought it was going to be more spiritual based. But I realized that life is not black and white. Life is a mix of both. If you're ever going to move in a upward direction, you have to learn the word hybrid. And matter of fact, I want to pull up the definition of hybrid real quick. We talked about back in the day when it came down to working, people talk about hybrid. So you're working remotely or you're working in the office. Hybrid meaning you're doing this and you're doing that. You can do two things simultaneously. Now, I know they talk about a double-minded man being unstable in all his ways, and that's not what hybrid means. It means being focused, but you're utilizing multiple things in order to get to you're utilizing multiple things to get to a common destination. So we're just going to use Webster's dictionary. So hybrid is, let's see, there's actually a few different definitions, so I'll just go ahead and read them all. So an offspring of two animals or plants of different subspecies, breeds, varieties, species, or genera. So it's a hybrid of two roses. So you take one type of rose, you take another type of rose, you put them together. A person whose background is a blend of two diverse cultures or traditions. I think that's the one that I'm going to use here. So, actually, there's another one, such as a power plant, vehicle, or electronic circuit that has two different types of components performing essentially the same function. So you have two things that are doing almost the same thing, but you're utilizing both of them in order to get to where you need to go. So when it came down to the daily drops of Dexter Dewayne, I don't want to lean into motivation. There have been plenty of people that are like, oh, you should be a motivational speaker. You should be a motivational speaker. I don't want to do that because motivation isn't long lasting. You need to be motivated every single day. Zig Ziglar once said it's like taking a shower, right? It only works if you do it every single day. So we're not necessarily trying to be on the motivational side of things. We're trying to be on the long-term sustainment side of things and figuring out what that actually looks like. So that way you can go a couple of months without the quote unquote motivation and you're still moving because we're building something solid. I have a community. The community is called Systems Over Struggles, where we build systems that you can trust. So each individual is coming in. We're looking at what they have. We're looking at what they want. And we're putting systems in place so they don't have to worry about thinking about everything. The system is already in place. And and I just want to break down what a system actually is, right? So on the military side of things, they have this Air Force, right? Army, whatever, but they all have some sort of boot camp. Air Force, they call it basic military training. And what basic military training is, it's about 2 months where you're in a room of like 50 people and you have someone called a military training instructor, so an MTI. And you have a bunch of these MTIs running around. You have your dorms that you're sleeping in. You've got the trainees that are beside you. And for 2 months, you're in a system. You need to wake up at 5:45. Well, I don't really want to wake up at 5. Well, you don't really have a choice because the system says get up at 5:45. You know, you're running at 6 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Well, I'm not a fast runner. Sometimes I get tired. We didn't ask you that. We said at 6 o'clock, you need to be on that track and you need to start running. Right. It's like, oh, well, it's breakfast time at 7. It's like, well, I'm not that hungry. Well, didn't really give you a choice, did we? It's time to eat breakfast. 12 o'clock. It's time to eat lunch. It's time to go to class. It's time to work out. It's time to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what a system is. And in the beginning, it's really uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because you're fighting against the things that you want to do. And what they're telling you to do isn't aligning with what you want to do. And now you feel conflicted. Now you feel double-minded because these are the things that you need to do, and these are the things that you want to do, and now you're conflicting. But here's what happens, right? It's about week 3, 4, 5, 6. You start understanding the system. You start understanding and you start ingraining the system into your being. So you wake up at 5:45, not because you want to, but because it's what needs to happen. And this. You've been doing it every day for 4, 5, 6 weeks. Waking up at 5:45 is what happens. Hey, we got to get downstairs because 6 o'clock, we got to go run. Breakfast is at 7 o'clock. We need to get to the defect. We need to get to class. We need to make sure we have our training book on us. Like, all of these things in a matter of a couple of weeks, you have adopted a new system. Now, you're still you. It's not like you're a different person. You are still you, but because you have this new system, the new you is part of this new system, is ingrained this new system. It's only meant to move you forward. It's only meant to move you upward. It's only meant to make you better. You become stronger. You don't realize it. You start running faster. You don't realize it. By the time it's over, it's like, wow, people see you in this big transformation. All you did was just follow the system. All you did was lean into the system. Right. So when I start talking about hybrid approaches, especially with the content that we do here, it's not just let me just give you this and then you're good. You just be whoever you are. And then here's this added thing, right? It's not just an additional thing. It's a hybrid. So in order to create that hybrid, you need to understand what it is you have and then what it is you want. And then we come up with a hybrid approach to get you there without you feeling like you losing yourself. So anyways, the whole point of these drops is to set a foundation. I mean, we're starting messy. Let's be real. I think I started this like 10 months ago and then it fell off because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. But there's an old quote that says, don't start nothing, won't be nothing. So we're going to get started, even though it looks a little messy right now. So I want to start off with a lender's affirmation. And this is something we're going to read every day. So the lender's affirmation is essentially making sure we uphold our faiths, our values, and our integrity throughout the entire journey, right? So here we go. Our lender's affirmation. I lend in a way that reflects who I am, honest, fair, and genuine. My actions will align with my values of integrity, kindness, and respect for others. I recognize that what I have comes from God. I will manage these resources responsibly, using them to glorify Him and to help others, not for selfish gain or pride. I commit to fair terms and clear communication, assuring no one feels taken advantage of or burdened by unnecessary expectations. My dealings will always reflect my belief in treating others with respect and fairness. I will lend with an open hand, knowing that generosity is an act of grace. I will release expectations and trust God to guide the outcomes, whether repayment comes or not. I will prayerfully consider every opportunity, seeking God's wisdom to make decisions that are not only helpful, but aligned with His purpose for my life and others. While I value accountability, I also understand the power of forgiveness and second chances. I will seek balance in my lending, offering help where it's needed, but remaining mindful of my boundaries and responsibilities. I lend not just to solve immediate problems, but to encourage growth, stability, and independence in others. My goal is to make a positive impact without creating dependency or harm. Through every decision, I will remain faithful to my values, my God, and my calling to be a light in this world. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So that's the lender's affirmation. And I just want to hop into this particular series. So within these next couple of days or next couple of weeks, depending on this, how this flow goes, we're really going to start getting into personal growth and development. It's the foundation of it all. Besides spiritual development, personal growth and development is where everything has started. The willingness to improve yourself, the willingness to say, I don't know everything, but I'm willing to learn a little bit more so I can be a little bit better each time. So I would title this one A Lifelong Learner. Being a lifelong learner. Now, what does that really mean? It means that you're constantly evolving and expanding your knowledge. It means you understand that growth never stops, and you're actively seeking new ways to improve yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You're reading books, you're taking courses, you're attending seminars, and you're engaging in activities that challenge your perspectives. It means you believe in the power of continuous education, not just academic learning, but also experimental learning. Every interaction, success, and failure teaches you something valuable, and you approach life with the mindset of a student, ready to absorb lessons from all situations. You embrace curiosity and seek to understand the world in deeper ways. You explore new ideas, technologies, and philosophies, and you allow them to inform your decisions, actions, and worldview. Lifelong learning. There's always something new. Not only is there something new out there, there's also a huge library of history. It would be very ignorant to think that everything that you know is everything that you need to know. Not only do you look at the future, but also looking at the past. Matter of fact, I was listening to something the other week. The guy was explaining medieval castles. You know, you see castles and you think royalty, but did you know that making it through the night was a challenge because it was so cold? People would worry about how high to raise their beds to avoid the cold in their own house. Talk about setting fires in the living room. They would talk about defrosting their beards in the morning. It was a challenge just to go to sleep. You would prepare to go to sleep. Now imagine that in 2025, preparing to go to sleep to make sure that you actually wake up in the morning. The level of gratitude that I adopted from learning the history of what people had to go through in order to make it through the night is valuable. Be a lifelong learner. You don't even have to learn about things that you care about. Learn about things that you don't care about. Learn something new. Learn something that's completely out of your wheelhouse. I talked about hybrid earlier. This is what I'm talking about. You don't have to just focus on the thing that you actually, perfect example, right? There was a movie called Cars, and the main character was Lightning McQueen. And he was a race car, and he was worried about getting the piston cup. That's his number one focus, was the piston cup. And he ended up getting knocked off course and ended up in a small town called Radiator Springs. And he's like, man, I need to get back to the track. I need to prepare for this race. I need to win the big one, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, no, you're stuck in this town. And he ended up making a whole set of new friends that he probably would have never met on the path he was on initially. He ended up learning core values. He started learning about himself. And when he finally got back to the track, when it was finally time for him to win that race, he said, no, I got to help. I got to help this other car. And I'm going to push him towards the finish line. He developed a new character. That's why it's so important to be a lifelong learner, learning new things, taking those things, putting them together, synthesizing them, turning it into something new. It's not always about what you get. It's about what you're becoming. And you can't become anything if you're not learning nothing. If you don't learn anything, you will always be who you always been. Be a lifelong learner. Continue to learn, continue to grow. And if you need help with that, just let me know. We'll see you on the next one.